Back at it again, and we've got to talk about this New York trial with Miss Laticia, and I believe his name is Judge Ingaran. I believe that's his name. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new, and you are not going to want to miss this one too. Let's dive in.
The President of the United States has complained that I'm engaging in some sort of political witch hunt, that I've got some personal vendetta against him, that I campaigned against him. That is not true.
So she said that it's not true that she campaigned against him. Well, Miss Laticia, I think you may have forgotten. We have cameras, and we have lots of them. And you know what people do with footage that they record? They upload it to the internet.
True.
This illegitimate president who sits in the White House. That president, because he's not my president, he's an illegitimate president. His days are numbered. His days are numbered.
We've got to get ready to mobilize, and we've got to get ready to agitate and irritate until victory is won, but more importantly, until Trump is defeated. We will all rise up and resist this man,
And ultimately, we'll bring him down.
this illegitimate president. I'm going to give you the same level of respect that you gave to President Obama, and that is absolutely no respect at all.
Donald Trump has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Donald Trump has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. And the days of Donald Trump are numbered. Lock him up. Lock him up. What? Lock him up. What? Lock him up. What? Lock him up. What?
You know, the sad part about all of this, one, is that they don't realize what trap they're walking themselves into. Because the moment the establishment is done with Trump and has proven I can take the biggest player off of the board and there's nothing that you can do about it, what do you think they're going to do to you? As soon as you are no longer needed in their game, you are useless. Useless. Once they've garnered the power that they achieved to gain, you're nothing to them. You know, and I think by then it'll be too late for I told you so's, but I will be one individual that will be out there saying, hey, we tried to warn you. We tried to tell you. Now, I don't believe that we will ultimately get to that point, but if we did, because there's always a chance, I gotta admit that there's always a chance we go down this path and we never return back to the America that we all once knew. There's always that possibility, and you have to acknowledge it, right? No matter how insignificant the chance may be, and I believe it is small, but it is there. And like I said, I'll be one of the individuals out there saying, hey, we told you. But back to Miss Laticia, because she said that this wasn't a witch hunt. She said that she wasn't campaigning to go after Trump. But once again, we have evidence.
Will you sue him for us?
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass.
I will never be afraid to challenge this illegitimate president. We need to
Oh, wait a minute. I thought we weren't supposed to say that, Miss Laticia. I thought we weren't allowed to say that presidents aren't supposed to be the... She just said the forbidden words. Oh, I forgot she's a Democrat. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. My bad. My apologies. I'm stepping out of line. Let me get back in line. I'm sorry. I was like...
Focus on Donald Trump. We need to follow his money. What is fueling my soul right now is Trump.
This illegitimate president. I look forward to going into the office of Attorney General every day, suing him, and then going home.
And resist this man.
When he leaves office as a private citizen, he will no longer have presidential immunity.
Can we actually get him? The New York Attorney General has joined the Manhattan District Attorney.
Days of this president are numbered.
Claims that you campaigned on a Get Trump agenda.
And we will rise up together and we will resist this president. Bring him down.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. You hear that? Stay tuned. I mean... There's so many clips out here, it's just got ridiculous.
I will never be afraid to challenge this illegitimate president when our fundamental rights are at stake. I believe that the president...
What fundamental rights? What rights? I bet you're going to make up some crap and, you know. Anyway.
President of these United States can be indicted for criminal offenses.
Will you sue him for us?
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the
that man in the White House who can't go a day without threatening our fundamental rights.
You see what Democrats do? They always try to get people's emotions involved. Fundamental rights. What fundamental rights has Trump threatened? What fundamental rights has he threatened? Now, back to Uncle Trump. He also said something very interesting that some people had an issue with, but once again, we have proof. Check out what Uncle Trump had to say.
We have a racist attorney general who's a horror show who ran on the basis that she was going to get Trump before she even knew anything about me. She used this to run for governor. She failed in her attempt to run for governor. She had virtually no polling. She came back and she said, well, now I'll go back to get Trump again. And this is what we have. It's a scam. It's a sham. Just so you know, my financial statements are phenomenal. They are actually less in terms of the numbers used than the actual net worth. The actual net worth is substantially more. No bank was affected. No bank was hurt. They don't even know why they have to be involved. And they've so testified. They can't believe that they're involved.
Now, did y'all catch what he said there at the beginning? He said that she's racist. I believe she is too. And I know. Well, I'll just play this clip for you.
Mr. Trump's comments were offensive. They were baseless. Were void of any facts and or any evidence. Comments that unfortunately fomented violence. Comments that I would describe as race baiting. Comments, unfortunately, that appeals to the bottom of our humanity.
We've got to stand up to an administration which is too male, too pale, and too stale. Too male, too pale, and too stale. Too male, too pale, and too stale. And we will not go away silently.
Now, I noticed something in this clip that I did not notice the first time. Look who's next to her as she's cheering "Too Pale." I mean, Mike, you can't make this stuff. You can't make this stuff up. And some people may say, well, how is that racist? I'll tell you how. Because if you swap out Laticia James for a white person saying that about a black person, if you swap them out and you had a white person saying, yeah, it's too black, what would be the reaction of the mainstream media and people at large? Exactly. So it's racist. You swap the two situations out and everybody says that it's racist if it's somebody else saying those exact same words. So there you go. Easy way to determine if something is racist or not. Just flip the races. Just flip them. Flip them. If it's a black person saying something about a white person, just make it the white person saying the exact same thing about the black person. And if you have an issue with it, well, then it's racist. Bingo. Now, allegedly in this case, Trump's lawyers dropped the ball. Now, this is alleged. This is alleged. I'm no expert on, juries and whatnot, but allegedly Trump had the opportunity to have a jury involved in this case. But according to what this judge says, I don't know if it would have done him any good anyway. Check out the judge involved in this case with Miss Laticia James. Listen to what he says here.
Now, I'm going to say something controversial, even though I'm being taped. Juries get it wrong a lot. That's my own opinion. I do only civil trials, personal injury cases, contract disputes. But I've had situations where, like, oh my heaven's sake, how could they have thought that? Well, I have a tool that I can deal with that. It's called jury notwithstanding the verdict, judgment notwithstanding the verdict. I can say there is no possible way that a reasonable jury would have reached that conclusion. And all right, am I following the law or am I making law? Okay, I'm following law. I'm an impartial referee, but it's hard to factor out my own emotions. And I have tools. Somebody can say, well, Your Honor, you have to throw out this case because it's just like another case. Well, is it just like another case? What if the defendant was wearing a red sweater instead of a blue sweater? Oh, and by the way, I worked for the Columbia Daily Spectator for a couple of weeks. What happened was I went there every day and I wrote a few stories. One I got criticized on because I wrote that some Ku Klux Klanners had murdered some people, and then I was told, you can't say that. How do we know? You weren't there. Well, that was what everybody thought. Anyway, yeah, we should have absolute immunity. What if we defame somebody? That's how it usually comes up. You know, you call somebody a murderer or a heroin addict, that sort of thing, a pedophile. And if it's done in court, yeah, I think we should have absolute immunity.
So that's the judge involved with Uncle Trump's case. So it doesn't really sound like he would have fared any better with a jury anyway, because possibly if the jury found him not guilty, the judge would have overruled and said judgment without standing the jury or something, judgment without standing the jury or something, whatever he said there. He would basically overrule the jury and say that no reasonable jury could come to this conclusion, and he would just make a ruling over the jury. Allegedly, of course, allegedly. I have to say that based upon his words, you know, I'm just saying. So what do you guys think about all of this? Because you have on one hand Laticia James saying it's not a witch hunt, that she didn't campaign on going after Trump, but we have the evidence. We have the evidence. We have the facts. We got the video proof of her campaigning to go after Uncle Trump. We have the videos. So you can't dispute that. You can't dispute it. And then in terms of, you know, Trump saying that she's racist, we have the evidence to back that up too. Which is, you know, this is the crazy thing that I've learned about, you know, politics, is that the right has to come with evidence. The left never does. The left can make all types of claims and say all types of bogus stuff, but people on the right, we just coming back with facts and all this other stuff, you know, to prove and back up what it is that we're saying, because we have to. Otherwise, we're considered some crazy lunatic cult and blah, 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 and we need to be deprogrammed and all this crazy stuff. Anybody on the left can say whatever they want. You know, if this was a leftist channel, I could probably say a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Now, probably, allegedly, of course, you know. But that's one thing that I've learned throughout this journey. The right always comes with facts and evidence to back it up. The left really never does. Now, in terms of the jury, how are you guys feeling about that? If we have any law professionals, let us all know, would it have been possible for Trump to have a jury in this case and somebody dropped the ball, which happens, right? Especially in this climate where, you know, Trump's lawyers are being bombarded left and right. I'm sure there's cases, you know, that are possibly coming about that we don't even know of yet, but the Trump's lawyers know about. You know, so it's definitely possible and reasonable at this point in time. You know, I don't blame them for it. They're being bombarded left and right. They've got this case and that case and this case and that case. Now they got this case in New York and probably got other cases that are possibly pending that may be coming down the pipeline, and they have to provide information for this and that and this and that and sign this and get this approved. And, you know, you got to file a motion here, file a motion there, get this one. So it's definitely possible they could have missed something along the way. I'm not knocking them for that. But is it true? That's what I really want to know. Let us all know in the comment section below if you are a law professional. And do you believe that it would have helped him anyway if he had a jury versus just a judge ruling over the entire thing? Because according to this judge, he could possibly just overrule a jury if he didn't like it or feel it was fair. I don't know. Y'all let me know. Peace and love, family. I'm out.